Welcome back, sports fans, to the Week 4 recap of the Lansing Area Blood Bowl League. My name is Rob, a.k.a. Lantern Noir.
My name is Chuck Norrisman.
And we're going to talk a little bit about the state of the league before we get into our highlights. We've got 4 weeks in, and we actually have some commentary now that we can actually, I think, give as we've seen things shake out.
Yeah, some predictions of what we thought were going to happen at the beginning of the year aren't what they are today.
Yet, some things are not wrong. We started off talking about the power of the bash teams.
Right.
And if we look at the current standings, right now in our top 5 teams, we have, going down from top to bottom, we have Orcs, we have Bretonnians, thank you. Bretonnians, Norse, Undead, and Lizardmen. So in those top 5 teams, we have 2 dedicated bash teams, we have 2 hybrid bash teams, and we have the Glass Cannons.
Go Norse.
So I think we are starting to see that play out.
I don't know. I think with the hybrid teams, it's not all about the bash. As we can see, casualty count doesn't matter. Casualty doesn't always win you the game. Touchdowns do.
True, and that brings up, for example, Necromantic Horror Team, Eddie's team, is saying that 17 casualties, the highest, I believe, in the league at the moment, but is mid-pack in the standings.
Yeah, just showing that blood on the field doesn't mean scores on the board.
Absolutely. Although, speaking of scores on the board, we do have to talk about the controversial situation we have running right now, which will come up again in the highlights. And that being the fact that Craig's Green Legs and Wham are not just at the top of the scoreboard, not just in double-digit % casualties, but have completely shut out every team so far.
It's almost like he's knows what he's doing.
I think they definitely have something going on. I did reach out to them for comment on this morning. We had heard rumblings around the store that the Green Legs and Wham may be imbibing some performance-enhancing fungus. And that could be affecting the flow of the game. We have a comment from the coach saying that they have investigated themselves and found no evidence of activities. The accusations alone are against the very will of Nuffle, may he be praised. And they're now talking about a 20 billion gold lawsuit against other coaches for insinuating such behavior.
Those must be goblin lawyers.
Well, I did ask for a follow-up on which coaches would be sued and was simply met with a no comment.
Walk away.
Amen. So we'll have to see how that plays out as the season goes on. Right. Should we talk some highlights?
Let's talk about last week's highlights. Week 4, wrapping up. Starts off.
All right, well, we have the 7-star Jewels and the Skull Ranch Rioters. That's right, the Rioters for Corn actually got some casualties in, claiming 3 casualties in themselves, but taking 3, and unfortunately taking the loss, giving the Jewels a 2-1 win.
Blood for the blood. That doesn't care where the blood comes from, does it?
Does not. We have Nighthawks versus Snot Trance. A phenomenal game, 4-2 win to the Nighthawks. A 3-3 tie in the old casualty count. Sticking on that game, though, we do have to draw attention that star player Bomber Dribble Snot definitely brought the bombs, not only taking himself out, but 4 fellow teammates.
It's like the 3rd week in a row he's done that.
I'm surprised he keeps getting hired, to be very, very honest. So there's, it still led to a 4-2 win for the Nighthawks. The Listeria Monarchs squared off against the Elves. Unfortunately, they walked away with the lead on casualties 3-0, but lost 2-1 to the Elves. That's the Elves 2, Listeria Monarchs 1.
Those silly Amazons. That high of a casualty count. All right. Savage Joe's Gems versus the Gobby Horror Picture Show. Lizardmen took it 2-1, but the Goblins took the casualty count 5-1. Despite the win, Savage Joe's took a beating. They ended up the game only 4 players left on the pitch, facing a full roster of goblins after 5 sources and a skink were sent to the injury box. Scary murders. Then we have a tie. The Weight is Ogre versus the Central Cemetery Boneheads, 1-1, but the Boneheads took the casualty count 3-1. They blamed the weather. They said it shifted from very sunny to pouring rain in an instant. And this caused all the mud to make the ball handling very hard for both teams. And then we have the Besters Jesters versus the Fungus City Cheats. Jesters win 4-2 and take the casualty count 4-1. Just fantastic. The Cheats defense collapsed in the second half as their trolls suffer collective brain freeze together, rolling 5 consecutive ones, leaving the Goblins the ability to get the scores they got. Over to you.
All right. We mentioned earlier, Green Legs and Wham, 1-0 win over the Danville Dan Rats. So again, Green Legs and Wham remain undefeated and unscored on. And even the score that they did get, though, was a tight game, was a final buzzer beater to stop the game ending up in the 0-0 tie. The Golden Shamrocks squared off against the Befoulers. This was a 2-1 win to the Befoulers, which kind of shook things up a little bit. Interestingly enough, the Golden Shamrock coach walked off the pitch complaining about the performance of the Werewolf, walked into the front office and hired a second.
I think he was just getting away from the smell of the Nurgle.
Maybe. I'm hoping that this plan plays out. Perhaps 2 is better than 1 when it comes to lycanthropes.
So the Lizard Skinnerd versus Dern's Defenders, a 1-1 tie game, but the Dwarves took the casualty count 7-1. Lopsided violence was the Lizardmen are usually known for their strength. They were completely outmatched in the trenches. The Dwarves just thought the lizards taste like bacon, I guess. Kneecapitators versus Undon Thwap. The Kneecapitators scored the victory 2-0, and the casualty count as well 5-2. With 5 casualties inflicted, Kneecapitators are making serious play for the most violent team title, likely jumping up several spots in the cast ranking, but as you heard earlier, they've got quite the ways to go.
All right. We have the Tomb Raiders squared off with the Delphi Duck Dodgers in a 2-1 win for the Tomb Raiders. It was the Amazons got the ball, scored in the early moments, and never saw the ball again, showing that if you don't get the ball, you can't score. It was a 1-0 casualty count to the Tomb Raiders, surprising for such a bashy team against such a squishy team. The Ramble Shamble squad squared off against the Brambleshot Toothtakers. The final score of that game, 2-2, but don't let that throw you off as to how tight the last moments of that game were. The troll for the Toothtakers dodged out of combat, scooped up the Doom Diver, who then flew into the end zone for the tying score to put the game 2-2.
Let's go, big guy.
The Ramble Shot Squad did manage to get 2 casualties and shut out the Toothtakers on that particular front.
All right, then we have the Norse versus the Short Stack Smashers. Gnome's legal team made me sign an NDA, Rob. So all I can say is, yes, there were pillows there. Yes, no official bribe was officially used. And the score was 4-0 Norse with a casualty count of 1-1.
That does sound like a very soft game.
Very soft.
Very soft.
Very gentle.
A couple final scores. The Feldorf Oaths won over the Ragnarots 2-1. And 10 pounds of chaos in a 5-pound sack, tied with the Stunt Runts 1-1.
Wrapping up, we have the last score, which was the Sunfall Striders versus the Wakhala War Boys. And final tie, 1-1, with the casualty count going to the War Boys lead 5-0. It was an Elven execution. It was a dark day for the Sunstriders' depth chart as the War Boys dismantled the Elven line to the tune of 5-0 casualties, sending a blitzer, a catcher, and a thrower to the great Knuffle Sky.
It's tough when you lose that many players that permanently. It's going to be a lot to come back from that.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty brutal stuff.
Yeah, and so when we start about predictions coming up, I think we're going to see the Star Striders really spending a couple of weeks just rebuilding their team after that.
Yep, they're going to be a slow go. And they've got those elves. They're so soft and squishy. They got to get those touchdowns. Get out of base to base.
Amen. Which then takes us, and let's talk about some predictions for coming up this week.
Oh,
We've got a couple of amazing matchups ahead of us. Top of the list, we're going to start by talking about the Central Cemetery Boneheads versus the Feldorf Oaths. They're going to be squaring off. Now, coming into this game, the Oaths are at rank 6th and just starting to crack that top 5 in the league.
Good stuff.
Now, in contrast, the Boneheads, while more mid-pack, have been able to hold opposing teams to no more than 2 touchdowns per game, and the Oaths are going to need to get 3 to break into that top 5 with their current scoring record.
Well, I think the coach of that team, the Oaths, just really know what they're doing, and they are one. Old World Alliance has so much flexibility. If Andrew gets his head in the game, I think he can get those 3 touchdowns. My vote's on Andrew and the Oaths.
It's a tough call. I don't like the prediction game is always a dangerous one, but I think I'm going to have to vote the opposite way. I think the Boneheads are set up to just create an unstoppable wall.
So are you saying the Boneheads are going to just stop him completely, or they're only going to let him score 2 touchdowns?
I think at the very least the Boneheads are going to keep him from scoring those 3 touchdowns to break the top 5.
That's fair.
I'm predicting a tie here.
Tie. I don't think Andrew's going to let the Oaths take another tie.
We'll have to see. Next matchup to talk about, we see it. This looks like it's going to be really exciting. Is a classic elf on dwarf beatdown between Thurin's Defenders and the Elves. They're both coming in 2-1-1.
Oh yeah, tight game. So this is going to determine who's going to take the higher spot.
Yeah. Well, and this is again we talked about casualties. The Defenders are coming in with one of the highest casualty counts in the league, and they just came off a game last week with 7 casualties.
Yep.
So I don't know. What do you think? How many? What's the range on this?
So I love drinking with the dwarves. They're my favorite drinking buddies. So I'm gonna have to go with the dwarves on this one. I think they're gonna keep those elves in check. I think with the tackle and a little bit of good positioning, the dwarves are just not gonna let the elves do what the elves want to do.
As much as I would love to argue with you on that one, I'm going to go with you as well. I think that given the fact that the Elves have been Elves in general this season have been struggling to keep their players on the pitch and in one piece.
Out of danger.
Exactly. I think coming in with already a serious collection of casualty counts, I'm going to go with the Defenders to win that too.
Yeah, how many of the dwarves have tackle already on their roster? 4, 5?
Yeah. And then if we're talking high casualty counts, we have to talk about the Nekahara knee capacitators versus Lizard Skinnerd. Lizard Skinnerd's coming in, having lost most of their big blockers in the last game, so they're going to be running a lot. They're bringing a lot of temporary players in. Yeah, I think they've got one source on the Croxgoer, and the rest are skinks. So this could very well be the first official unable to continue of the league.
I don't know. It depends on how many star players or rosters the Leonard Skinner can bring in, because he can totally change. That's why we say the Lizards are the hybrid team, because if the source is out of the way, all that team value plummeted. The Skinks are cheap, and so he might be able to star player into a completely different Dodge team, and now Lizard Skinner in week 5 is an Agi team versus the Kneecapitators, which I don't know if they can handle.
All right, so you're going down with Lizard Skinner on that prediction.
I want to so bad.
Go for it.
No, but he's gotta make his roster right. If he makes a bad decision, it's gonna go to Alex all day.
All right. So your prediction is?
Ooh, my prediction is Alex.
Wow, it's a lot of work to get to that. I think I'm more concerned with whether or not we're going to get double-digit casualties that game.
Have you seen how fast those Lizards run?
I absolutely have.
No, I'm changing it. I'm changing it. I'm going with the Lizards. We're doing Lizards. Build your roster right.
All right. We also have the long shot game of the week.
Exciting.
And I think this is going to be really interesting. And that is coming up. We have Green Legs and Wham versus the Silly Gooses. We have rank 1 against rank 33.
Oh my God, this is the game.
And we have Green Legs and Wham have not yet been scored on, and the Silly Gooses have yet to find the end zone.
But you can't stop that turn 1 touchdown if the Silly Gooses just do it. I think this is going to be a stadium packed. This is going to be a full stadium.
Despite the blackouts, they've already talked about sold out crowds.
Of course.
There's a waiting list to get on it. So this could be the game of the season.
This is going to be the game.
Plus, if this were to happen, Green Legs and Wham and their coach would have to walk away knowing that their perfect record was destroyed
by a 33
by a team called the Silly Gooses.
Yeah, but the Silly Gooses coach, he's been around. They've been around just as long as the Green Legs and Wham coach has. They both know what they're doing.
Yep.
Can we go for the underdog in this one?
I'm going for the underdog on this one.
Okay, we agree on that. Let's go with Silly Gooses on this one.
Silly Gooses.
No offense to Green Legs and Wham and their coach, because I think they're gonna put up a hell of a fight.
Amen.
But Silly Gooses.
Silly Gooses, absolutely. And then we probably should at least touch on, you've got an interesting game coming up.
I do.
Ramble Shamble Squad versus Norse Code Violations.
High casualty count, but he doesn't score a lot of touchdowns. So the Norsemen have a good chance with their 10 touchdown third place, tied for highest in league with Luke for touchdowns. It's going to be close. A lot of the practice games aren't going very well. Undead hit like a freight train with no fear. I mean, they're dead already. Where they have to lose?
Exactly. And to be fair, the Ramble Shamble Squad coach knows the game.
Oh, yeah.
So it should be a tight run. And then we welcome Scott into the league with the Purple Frogs, who'll be squaring off against the Nighthawks. We have no idea what to expect with this. We haven't seen anything from this coach or this team yet.
We haven't, but, Luke and the Nighthawks, they're just so professional on the field. I don't think they're going to give the Purple Frogs a lot of opportunities to do anything crazy.
We'll have to see. And whatever we find out, we'll bring back to you guys in 2 weeks with our recap for Week 5. Thank you for joining us. Fans of Blood Bowl here in the Lansing area Blood Bowl League and fans of Blood Bowl everywhere. My name is Rob, a.k.a. Lantern Noir.
My name's Chuck Norseman.
See you next week.